Kirk regulator. It falls under the non-isolated type DC to DC converter category of the switch mode power supply, which means that similar to buck regulator, boost regulator and buck boost regulator, the Kirk regulator does not facilitate the isolation between input and output. Similar to the buck boost regulator, it has capability to produce output voltage greater than the input voltage and output DC voltage less than the input voltage, which depends on the duty ratio D. It combines the good characteristics of buck and the boost converters. Similar to the buck boost regulator, it produces output voltage with opposite polarity compared to supply voltage. Let us go through the construction of Kirk regulator. So in the construction you can see that it uses two inductor energy storage devices and two capacitors. So there are total 4 energy storage elements. Because of that, it is also known as fourth order converter. As far as the circuit is concerned, if we compare Kirk regulator with previously discussed topologies, then Kirk regulator is complex. It has one controlled switch and one uncontrolled switch diode. If you closely observe this circuit diagram, then you can find out that the input portion of the Kirk regulator is derived from the boost regulator and the backend portion of the Kirk regulator is similar to the buck regulator. So it uses the combination of boost and the buck regulator. This inductor is known as the input inductor and this is known as the output inductor. This capacitor is referred as coupling capacitor and the task of this capacitor is to filter out the ripples and provide the constant steady DC voltage across the load. The circuit has one control switch, so the operation of Kirk regulator can be explained with the help of two modes. The mode 1 when the switch is in the on state condition and mode 2 when the switch is in the off state condition. The waveforms of the various parameters like voltage across capacitor, current through capacitor, current through the source side inductor, current through the output inductor and output current are shown. Before I begin to explain the operation of Kirk regulator in the continuous conduction mode, let me tell you that the capacitor is initially charged with the shown polarity, which means on the left side terminal is positive and the right side terminal is negative due to previous cycle operation, whereas inductor L and L0 are completely empty. So the mode 1 operation begins at instant t is equal to 0 when the switch is made on. So the inductor L starts storing the energy from the supply and the current starts from the positive terminal of the supply. It passes through the inductor L, it passes through the switch and this is how the closed loop path for the current is formed. Whereas on the back side Due to this capacitor has energy, this capacitor delivers its energy to the load and inductor LO through this switch. So current starts from this positive terminal of the capacitor, it passes through the switch, then it passes through the load and it goes to the inductor LO. During the first interval, this diode remains off because it is in the reverse bias condition. So side by side, if we observe the waveform of IL, then we can see that during the first interval, as the inductor L starts storing the energy, the current through L gradually increases from minimum value towards the maximum value. Similar to inductor L, in the same interval, inductor LO also stores the energy which is coming from the capacitor. So the inductor current also gradually increases from minimum value towards the maximum value. The voltage across capacitor remains constant because the capacitor is very large. During the first interval, the current flowing through the capacitor is similar to the current flowing through LO because these two elements are connected in series fashion. So here you can see that the IC is similar to ILO. At the instant dt, when the switch is made open, at that time the polarity across inductor L and LO get reversed. Due to that, this diode comes into the picture and it becomes on. So whatever the energy stored by this inductor during the interval 1, that energy will be delivered to the capacitor via this freewheeling diode D. So during the off state condition at the front end side, the current starts from the positive terminal, it passes through inductor, it passes through capacitor and flowing through the diode. Simultaneously on the back end side, whatever the energy stored by the inductor L0 during the first interval, that energy gets released into the load via this freewheeling diode. So current starts from this terminal, it passes through the diode, it passes through the load, and this is how the current flows through the closed loop path. So if you observe the current through the load during the mode 1 and during the mode 2, it is in the clockwise direction, which means that current enters into the load from the bottom side and it leaves the load from the top side. So when we measure the voltage across load, we get the negative voltage. So during the first interval, the switch has to carry two currents. The first is the current passing through the L and current passing through the capacitor C. In the second interval, the diode has to carry two currents. The first is current through the capacitor C and current through the inductor L0. So comparatively, the ratings of the switch and the diodes are higher than the components used in buck boost or buck boost regulator. As the inductors are releasing their energy in the second interval, current through the inductor L and L0 gradually decreases from the maximum value towards the minimum value. And in second interval, the current through the capacitor is similar to the inductor L, but this time the direction of the capacitor current is reversed compared to the first interval. So here you can see that IC is equal to IL, but in the reverse manner. So now let us see the important points of the Kirk regulator discussed so far, and thereafter we will do the derivation of output voltage for Kirk regulator operating in continuous conduction mode. So as said earlier, it is a non-isolated type converter It has two inductors, two capacitor, one control switch, usually a transistor, and a diode. It is an inverting converter, which means that output voltage is negative with respect to input voltage. The capacitor C is used to transfer the energy and is connected alternately to the input and to the output of the converter via commutation of the switch and the diode. Right here you can see that during mode 1, by turning on the switch, this capacitor is connected to the inductor LO, and during the second interval, by turning off the switch and making this diode on, this capacitor gets connected to inductor L. The two inductors L and L0 are used to convert respectively the input voltage source and the output voltage source into the current sources. So in the steady state, energy stored in the inductor has to remain the same at the beginning and at the end of the cycle. And generally, we represent the energy stored into the inductor by the expression E is equal to 1 upon 2 Li square. The steady state implies that the current through the inductor has to be same at the beginning and end of the cycle. So the current through the inductor is related to the voltage across it in the form of L into di by dt. So it can be seen that the average value of the voltage across the inductor L and L0 over the period has to be 0 to satisfy the steady state condition, which means that whatever energy stored by the inductor L during mode 1, the same amount of energy should be released into mode 2. In the off state condition, which is in the mode 2, L is connected in series with the supply and capacitor. So the voltage across inductor should be input voltage minus voltage across capacitor. And here Vs means the input voltage. As the diode is in the forward bias condition, LO gets directly connected to the output. So the voltage across LO is equal to VO. And in the on state condition, L is directly connected to the input source. So we can write VL is equal to VS. And LO is connected in series with the C on the left hand side and on the right hand side with CO. So by applying KVL in this loop, we can find out voltage across LO as VO plus VC. The converter operates in the on state from the time instant t is equal to 0 up to t is equal to dt, and in the off state from time instant t is equal to dt to 1 minus d into t. So the average value of VL and VLO are therefore VL bar is equal to D times VS plus 1 minus D inside the bracket source voltage minus voltage across capacitor, which means that voltage across inductor L over the cycle on time plus off time. So during on time, voltage across inductor L is Vs, and during off time, voltage across inductor L is Vs minus Vc. So using the voltage second formula, we can write this VL bar equation. So by rearranging the terms, we can have VL bar is equal to Vs minus inside the bracket 1 minus D into Vc. Similarly, we can have VLO bar, that is the average voltage across inductor LO over one cycle. So during the on state condition, voltage across inductor LO is VO plus VC, and during the off state condition, voltage across LO is equal to V output. So same as this case, by using the voltage second equation, we can find VLO average as VO plus D into VC. Both average values have to be zero. The reason, as I said earlier, the whatever energy stored by the inductor during the first interval, the same amount of energy should be released by the inductor in the second interval. So the average value becomes 0. So from second equation we get Vc is equal to minus V output upon D, that is from this one. As we know that VLO is equal to 0 over the one cycle, so when we equate this equation with 0 and when we simplify this equation, we get Vc is equal to minus VO upon D. So the average voltage across L becomes, by substituting this equation into the first one, we get voltage across inductor, that is average value, as Vs plus 1 minus D into V upon D is equal to 0, which can be rewritten as output voltage is equal to minus D divided by 1 upon D into supply voltage. So this is the output voltage equation for the Cock regulator when it is operated in the continuous conduction mode, and this equation is similar to the voltage equation of the buck boost regulator. When the magnitude of duty ratio is between 0 to 0.5, output voltage is less than the input voltage, and when the duty ratio becomes greater than 0.5, output voltage of the Cock regulator would be greater than the input voltage. Now let us discuss few advantages of the Cock regulator. It produces low switching loss. The reason is only one control switch is present. It produces continuous output current since the intermediate energy transfer takes place through the capacitor. So here, because coupling capacitor is present, the output current is continuous. Due to low switching loss, the efficiency of the Cock regulator is high. Ripples in output voltage and current are much smaller than that of the buck boost regulator. Because inductor is present at the input side as well as at the output side, the ripples in input current as well as in the output current would be less. A substantial weight in the size reduction of the converter is the result of the smaller filter components, because capacitive energy storage is more efficient than the inductive energy storage. Let us go through few disadvantages of the Cock regulator. Additional inductor and the capacitors are required. Complex controller is required for the Cock regulator compared to previously discussed topologies. Switch and diode have to carry both input and output currents during both the modes.